What's going on, Chicago Bulls fans? We got a special late night update for Chicago Bulls Central. I'm the host, Haize, here. We'll be getting into updates to John Wall, Kyrie Irving. What does that mean for the free agency? Will the Bulls be impacted by any of this? We'll get into all that and more on tonight's special episode of Chicago Bulls Central.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, your #1 place for all Chicago Bulls news and content.
All right, Bulls fans. So, as you guys might have heard, Kyrie Irving is opting into his contract with the Brooklyn Nets. So that really changes some dynamics. Some people had been expecting, it was possible that dominoes would fall, that Kyrie would decide to opt in and maybe leave, and then the Nets may look to go into total rebuild and trade KD. None of that seems like it's going to happen now. They're going to stay pat. They're going to run it back a year, hopefully add some depth to that team. I'm sure they're looking forward to, but that may change some plans that people were planning to get into. I know a lot of Bulls fans have been talking about possible KD trades. I've shut that down. I didn't expect that to happen at all. The Bulls just really don't have the assets to go after a KD trade when you look at future draft capital. And, anybody can match salaries, but as far as the draft capital part of that and what they could get out in the open market, but doesn't look like that is going to be even a question. Listen, a lot of trade rumors have been slowly getting shut down just by the nature of things going on, which is going to happen in offseason. Now, one of the other pieces that have now fallen, maybe some teams that would have been interested in Kyrie will move towards John Wall, who does reach a buyout with the Houston Rockets. And this, John Wall, who was forced to sit out all last season, the Rockets basically told him to stay home. He wanted to play. Being a year off basketball, we'll see what type of rust, if any, is on him. But he does now go into and join this unrestricted free agent class, and it may be one of the biggest free agents in the class as a whole when you really think about things, right? And this just in, as I was actually editing this episode, it was announced that John Wall does plan on signing with the Los Angeles Clippers once he clears waivers. Now, this is something that I was not expecting. Signing with the Clippers. What does that do for them? If the Clippers are fully healthy, that is a heck of a team down there in LA. Now, thankfully, that's in the Western Conference, so it doesn't impact us all too much. But again, to my point that I said in the video, and I will get back to, is that who knows what John Wall actually has left? What a year off of basketball has really done for John Wall. But I tell you what, now adding John Wall to a team that was 42-40 last season, a team that went healthy with a healthy Paul George, hopefully he can get a healthy Kawhi in there. That's a heck of a roster there down there in LA. And so, listen, if they can get fully healthy, and that is a big if they can stay healthy when you're talking about a team with Paul George and Kawhi Leonard on it. But when you look at adding John Wall to the core that they have down there in LA, a tough, gritty team down there in LA that already re-signed Robert Covington and stuff like that, this could be a really big deal, or it could end up not being much. But John Wall coming into a team where his role is going to be defined, a little bit more constraints, things like that, could be a really, really good team. So let me know down below, what do you guys think about John Wall, the fact that it's now official that he is going to be going and joining the Los Angeles Clippers once he clears waivers? Let me know what you guys think about that down below. I'm going to go ahead and get back into the video. I know now, disregard anything that I say about not knowing what team John Wall is going to, but this is an update that I literally had to record, throw in the episode as I was editing. Let me know what you guys think about that down below on John Wall joining the Clippers. Peace, y'all. We'll see what happens with Bradley Beal, see what happens with a couple other pieces, but John Wall could be a team that a player that the Lakers or somebody else looks into to really add to that team. And before anybody gets to asking, I know we don't know what's going on with Lonzo Ball's knee. I know we don't have a firm answer on if he's going to be ready by training camp, but please do not start we need to sign John Wall. It's not going to happen. John Wall does not need to be a Chicago Bull. It does not need to happen. Don't start it. Please don't start it. Please just don't do it. Don't do it. But with all that being said, so those things, may change some things in free agency. The Kyrie Irving thing was always going to be an interesting thing. Kyrie is just doing Kyrie-like things. But this John Wall thing, now what teams are going to be interested in him? The fact that he's unrestricted, the fact that he did reach a buyout, so maybe he's willing to take a one-year flyer with the team at a much lower contract. We'll really see. It's going to be interesting to see what John Wall can get out in the open market, what team he ends up with, and what he really does have, no matter what team he signs with, once he does sign, How much is he able to give that team? There's going to be a lot of questions there, but let's move into some Bulls news before we go on. So Dalen Terry did have his presser today with Billy Donovan and AK, and it was just hearing him talk. He just seems like an excited kid, right? There's not really much that you can take out of these pressers, like as far as the makeup of the team. Now, Billy Donovan was asked some about how he sees him fitting on the team, and what I get and the impression that I get, and them bringing up IO, things like that, is that he's not going to be playing point guard. I know a lot of people will say, well, he played point guard. Seems like he is going to be moving on the wing, probably starting off with some backup shooting guard minutes, see what he can do being at small forward with his size and athleticism, things like that. But, it was just a kind of an interesting press conference from that one. AK says some things about the future of the team, basically that he expects both Patrick Williams, Vooch to be there. He doubled down again on continuity. That's something that he's been saying a long time. So again, really AK said, without saying directly, is don't expect any big trades. Now, if a big trade comes available that is definitely going to be beneficial to the team and work within the framework of how they want to build this team, I'm sure they'll take it. But ultimately, what AK was saying and what I got out of it with not as many words is that this team is going to be ran back. They're running this team back for the most part, the core, right? Going to be some drastic changes on the bench. We already have seen that basically with a Dalen Terry who does project to get some minutes. We'll see goes on with Justin Lewis and him being the player that he is and bringing a lot of what Bulls fans liked in EJ Liddell, things like that. But as well, what do they now do with that mid-level exception, which I talked about earlier in my video that dropped actually early today? Just a lot of questions to remain there. But at the end of the day, AK preaching continuity and even Billy Donovan talking about this team, you really get the feeling that, yeah, there's not going to be a major move made. Everything that comes from this team as far as improvements is probably going to come from the bench and what they do around there. I don't expect a big trade to be made with the Chicago Bulls anymore. Kind of once that trade deadline, once the draft passed without making a move there. Now, they may make a smaller move. They may make some signing trades. We don't know. Like that's similar to what they did in the back half of last offseason. But I really do think once Zach LaVine resigns, because we did get word that Zach LaVine is probably going to be a midnight signing. We're going to get a deal announced at midnight of trade deadline, that they're going to focus on bringing in that length, bringing in some rim protection, some rebounding, and whatever they use on that with that mid-level exception, that's probably going to be the biggest move that they make this offseason, and then just try to work some things around. The Kobe White thing, we'll see what happens with Kobe White. I've already said it. There's very much a chance and a possibility that Kobe White is going to come on the team and be effective. Like I said before, it's not as gloom and doom as some Bulls fans try to make it seem with Kobe White. Yes, he is very, very inconsistent. Can you have players that are better consistency-wise than him? Absolutely. But it really does seem like the Bulls are prepared to kind of stand pat on some of the bigger trades that were rumored and some Bulls fans hope were going to happen, just aren't going to happen. And you guys got to just come to that realization. This Bulls team is probably not going to make a big-time trade in this free agency. The biggest acquisition is probably going to be whatever they do with that mid-level exception. I already dropped a video earlier on some big man candidates that I think were realistic for the Chicago Bulls. And we'll do some more of those over the course of the offseason to really, as things tend to go. But I really do expect that big man to be the first focus after Zach LaVine re-signs. That's really it on this one. Like I said, shout out to Dalen Terry and what they did there. AK's comments there. It's been more of what we've already said. It really wasn't anything shocking there. Dalen Terry is going to be wearing number 25, so we do know that. Shout out to him there. But that's really it on this one. So I wanted to give that update. We'll see how things continue to progress, see if any other news drops as we get closer to the opening of free agency, which is right around the corner. And then Summer League is right after that. So we'll go. I think the Bulls are going to have most of their deals done probably within the first week of free agency, with probably some smaller ones, some back end of the bench filling out to do later after that. But that's just what I expect. Let me know what you guys think down below on that. Where are some of the teams that you think may be interested in John Wall, not named the Chicago Bulls? But go ahead and let me know all that down below, what you feel on the Kyrie situation. But that's it for me for tonight. I will see you lovely and beautiful people again tomorrow morning for the normal full episode of Chicago Bulls Central. Thank you for tuning in, whether you're on the podcast side or YouTube side. Make sure you're following the show at Bulls Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, bullcentralpod@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text and or voicemail, the number to do so is 773-270-2799. Thank you for tuning in. Like I like to end every episode on, go Bulls. Love you guys. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.